Monday morning, I'm off into central London for probably one of the most unusual clients that I work with in terms of what we do. Public speaking training company that goes into skyscrapers in central London and teaches high up corporate people how to better do public speaking. And I basically get brought in as a videographer to film them and then play it back to them to show them things that they could be improving about their body language, the way they work, the way they do stuff. So I've done it a few times. It's a bit of fun. Dress up, put my suit on, head into Central. Let's go. Cool, back home now. I'm back on proper camera after using my phone for the last few days. Been working away all afternoon, getting lots of little stuff done. It's kind of the end now, so I'm wrapping up for Monday. But I've been, the key thing that I've been doing, which I think is a helpful practice to do whenever you are struggling to know what exactly to work on next, was to sit down and list the 5 or 6 things that I'm trying to work on and make kind of big picture blocks of what it is I'm trying to do, and really get back to that why, what is my reason for doing all this stuff at the moment? Is there anything on this list that I'm working on that actually doesn't line up with where I'm trying to get to, that I can scrap off? Or is there anything that is missing that I'm, really matters to be deep down and I'm not actually doing anything about it? I'm not actively working on it. And so I've framed this long list as I'm managing to do this, I'm managing to do this, I'm managing to do this as like the positives, and I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this as the things that I want to do. And it's the end of the day now, so I've sat down, I've done my time blocking for tomorrow, which is a helpful thing I'm trying to do more of, where I end the day by figuring out what tomorrow looks like, kind of to the hour, chunked down. Spent the last couple of hours in Adobe After Effects doing some video stuff, some motion graphics editing for one of my video clients. I've just finished another book called The Brand Flip by Marty Neumeier. It's one of his recent books. He wrote a bunch of books about branding a while ago, but this is one of his new ones. There's a really nice idea, which I like, talking about the flipped way, the new way, the modern way, the exciting way of doing business. And he talks about how we have to have this mindset shift so that we're no longer trying to target a market, like trying to reach people and target people, but instead we're trying to support a particular tribe. I think that's a much better way, and it's a much more interesting way of thinking about how we reach the particular people that we have in mind. We're not trying to target them. They're not our prey. We're not aiming at them. Instead, we're trying to help them and support them and provide something for them, which just feels like a much cooler way of thinking about business. So I'm going to have a bit more to think about that. I'm trying to play around a little bit with Twitter as a output for very, very short thoughts and ideas. I've been doing these weekly articles in blog posts. They're really long, they take a lot of thought, and I want to keep doing them. But I wanted a way to start practicing really, really short form writing. I'm realizing more and more how important writing is in our modern day. Like, everything out there is really based on writing. All content starts with writing. Persuasion, compelling people to do things, explaining what something is, writing. And so trying to refine my writing ability by doing a mixture of long stuff, which is articles and blog posts and stuff, and something really, really small. And Twitter seems like an interesting place to do that. Never really used it before, but I'm giving that a go as well. Back on my phone again, because I'm trying to film some content on my other camera. I realized these articles that I'm writing each week are, in a way, perfect scripts for YouTube videos. So I'm giving it a try. I've set up my teleprompter, but I've basically taken one of my articles that I've written. This is the one about take another step, look at your boots. And I've modified it slightly and stuck it on my teleprompter app. And you can see through the glass, a circle is the lens of my camera. And so I look at that, just scrolling on my laptop to control it. I look at that and I read the script. This is what it looks like. And I can just sit here, talk to the camera, deliver it, and then give it a go at turning essentially a blog post into a YouTube video. So I'm just experimenting, same with everything I'm doing at the moment, giving it a try. It's definitely been one of those slower weeks this week where it doesn't feel like as much is happening, where like the needle's really being moved and stuff's being like progressed. So I've had to take a bit of a step back and reflect, figure out what's going on, figure out whether I'm in a good place or whether I'm not doing things as well as I could be. I think I'm just realizing I've got a lot of stuff that's on a good trajectory, but it's just really early on in the process. So like over the last 5 or 6 weeks, really since I started doing these videos, I've been getting much better and getting way more consistent at writing and sticking that out online, putting out social media content, doing these videos, all kinds of little things that is pushing and sticking stuff out there and creating and making. Where I'm at right now, 5-6 weeks in, seems to be the point where most people give up, and where I've always given up when I've got to this kind of point before, where it feels like I'm doing all the right stuff, but it hasn't actually started to get traction yet. And so this is just a really interesting point in the journey for me on this whole purposeful plodding exploration that I'm doing. I'm plodding along. I'm now checking most of the boxes in terms of, I'm putting out decent stuff on 4 or 5 different platforms on a really regular basis. It'd be really easy now for me to just lose all motivation because no one's really reading my stuff. No one's really benefiting from it yet. But now is the point where if I can stay consistent and keep on getting better and better, we'll eventually, hopefully, cross that little line where it starts to actually reach people and make a difference. It's just a really difficult thing for me, and I've got to remind myself that, and I said this in the first one of these videos, I'm not really doing this necessarily for the results and for people to have some sort of a reaction and a response. Although I'd love that, and although I'd love to see this actually making a difference in people's lives, I think it's just important to remember why I set out on this journey. And it's really about me learning, it's about me growing, and it's about me actually building something and figuring out how to do that well. And failure is a big part of that. Boredom is a big part of that. And elements and chunks of time where it doesn't feel like much is happening is a big part of that. So just a real update from me on a Friday afternoon as I'm doing this journey. I'm finding it difficult, and it's slow, and it feels kind of like a waste of time sometimes until I step back and remind myself of why I'm bothering. So there we go. That's how I'm up to. That's what I'm doing, and we'll see how it goes. We'll carry on, and hopefully I'll be able to hold on to that reminder of why I'm doing all of this.